Thanksgiving's over.
Happy
Already,
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
happy Thanksgiving. We've already, moving on to the next chapter of the holiday season.
Yep. I had a
It's,
big feast. I got a big belly from it.
oh
My
yeah,
penis is still small.
you know,
So Wishbone did not help with that this year. And it didn't help last year either.
some holiday wishes can't be granted. They're like no amount of cheer can solve them.
Now that I think about it, the Wishbone really hasn't helped any year. It's been the same wish every single year, and it just doesn't do anything. I'm starting to think that it might not actually work.
That is a tough pill to swallow. I'll tell you that.
It really is. It's the only thing I have to look forward to.
It's not, looking at the presents under the tree come Christmas Eve or, Christmas time. It's nothing like that. It's that brief stint of cracking the wishbone on Thanksgiving to hope for slightly better performance in the genitalia department.
There's only so far Jelq can get you.
Jelqing. Yeah, that's a subject that could, for better or worse, have its own Bender hour dedicated all to itself.
I honestly don't even know that much about it.
And that's exactly
be able to talk about it for that long.
Well, that's exactly why it'd be so stupid.
Every time I read the description of it, it just sounds like jerking off. Like,
well, yeah, but now it has like health ramifications. It's the new hot thing. Everyone's doing it. Apparently, probably not. I don't think anyone does it. It's kind of like Jankum.
Yeah, everyone says that they do it, but
it was like supposedly a big deal, and then turns out it was just like all fake from the beginning.
Was Jankum fake?
Yeah, it was. It was like no one was really circulating, jars of poop with poop gas in them. It was a joke that like the media ate up, and they genuinely thought it was a new craze among, the youth.
That is the worst news I've ever heard in my life. That's like up there with like when the grab him by the pussy guy got like just exposed that was all fake.
Yeah.
That's world shattering right there.
Sometimes the truth is better left untouched.
I always thought this whole time that there were just people in Africa huffing shit fumes.
No, but the poorer you go, the dumber things that people will huff, whether it be gasoline or paint paint thinner.
I mean, there's got to be some truth to it.
Yeah.
And how could someone make that up?
I don't know. The thing is, I don't think. I mean, there's definitely has to be like recreational drugs out there that utilize a similar system of building up the gas in a balloon and then huffing it all in one go. But to make it like a combination of feces and urine, I think that smell would just make you puke. I don't think that'd get you high.
There's gotta be some truth to it, because isn't Jet in Fallout based off of that?
Well, yes.
That's from like the 90s.
Well, yes, but that's like genetically modified, mutated cow farts
well, yeah,
through like an aerosol spray.
But I always thought it was just based off of Jankum.
I don't think so. I think the Jankum phenomenon was like in the early 2000s. I don't think that was. I don't think that inspired Obsidian to put that in their games. That'd be really dumb if it was, but I am 99.9% sure that is not the case. Oh, anyway, for Thanksgiving, I remember looking at this thing on the internet a long time ago where I think it discussed what people's favorite side dishes were, like around the United States, and some of them were just very stupid.
I think I've seen that before, and I remember thinking the exact same thing. Some of them were just straight up awful sounding.
Yeah, like some of them were like seafood. Some of them were just like mashed potatoes. I think a couple of them
be some horrible creature to have mashed potatoes be your favorite side dish.
I think a couple of them were genuinely down as gravy.
Gravy is not a side dish. It's like
I don't
saying
know.
that like ketchup is my favorite side dish. It's a sauce. It's a condiment. Yeah,
Tell that to some of these
salt is
people.
my favorite side dish.
And then like you head down in the south and it's like mac and cheese and like other like weird things.
That's understandable. I mean, I've never had mac and cheese on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Mac
But
and
like
cheese
at
is
least,
good.
yeah,
So,
like mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is like that's a reasonable side dish for like a hot bird meal of turkey.
and it's a
So
feast too. And mac and cheese is pretty easy to make in large quantities for a lot of people.
yes, but just for all of those backward tribals, just sitting out in the sticks, like eating their famous side dish of gravy and mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes.
I pity those people. There's a far grander world out there, and they're choosing to ignore it.
Just gotta have that stuffing.
Yes, I think stuffing was the top on most of like the eastern seaboard.
But it's gotta be good stuffing. It can't be prepackaged shit. It's gotta
No, it
be
can't be.
stuffing with the giblets.
Yes, I mean if you're making prepackaged anything for Thanksgiving, it's gonna be
You
shitty.
need to die.
Yeah, like if that if those vegetables are like squeaking because they just came out of the microwave,
This came out of the frozen package.
that Thanksgiving is ruined.
Kill you. Invite
Everyone's
me
gonna
over to your house and you feed me frozen vegetables.
everyone's gonna
die with a dead body.
everyone says grace, they'll dig in, and then you'll hear like the vegetables in their mouth, and then their eyes just roll in the back of their heads. They slump over, turn purple, die in their seats.
Their eyes turn bright red and they all get up and look at the host.
No, it's not even like some kind of strange phenomenon. That's just their genuine reaction. They're that mad. I wouldn't blame them.
I would be pissed.
And a stupid question that I pose every year now, ever since I first pondered it. You have Halloween music, you have Christmas music. There's no dedicated Thanksgiving music.
Because what would it be? It would be the sounds of like Native Americans getting killed. Like, what else could it be?
I don't know. I mean, you think if you asked, let's say we hypothetically lived in a world where there was no Halloween music, and you asked somebody that question, and they said, well, "What the hell would it be for Halloween music?" How do you describe the Monster Mash to like an uninitiated person?
There's not even that much Halloween music though. There's
No, but it does
Monster
exist.
Mash. There's the Halloween song from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Thriller.
And maybe the Halloween theme from like the Michael Myers movie. If you really want to push it and count that, but that's like 4 songs.
That's 4 more than Thanksgiving has, and that says something. So it just makes me think, not one person's ever done it, not like one prominent artist has ever tried to make something Thanksgiving related. Thanksgiving's kind of glossed over, so they can, so corporate America can make moves for straight to the cash cow Christmas.
And you go into any store on November 1st, and it's Christmas already.
Yes,
no
they're
one
ready.
gives a shit about Thanksgiving. Families care about Thanksgiving, but no corporate entity, anything that wants to make money, does not care about Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no, it's the. I mean, I'm not 100%. I don't know what the word is. I don't watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
I don't either.
To from start to finish every year. I catch like a couple minute glimpses of it every year.
Because you wake up and it's already over half the
yeah.
time.
This year, for whatever reason, I guess they really had nothing better because they were just replaying it hour after hour. It was like 6 p.m. and they were still showing it. But they're out there and they start doing like Christmas stuff. Like they bring out like the Muppets and they start singing Christmas songs, like right after they got done, with the whole Thanksgiving parade. So like that's a huge thing, and they're already digging into the Christmas, the whole Christmas package.
Didn't they have Mariah Carey sing "All I Want for Christmas Is You" at the Macy's Day Parade this year?
I didn't see that, but I would not doubt it at all.
I think I did see it. And she was so horribly limp syncing it. It was awful. Like, you could tell that she did not care.
No.
Okay, granted, if that was your most popular song, you probably wouldn't give a shit either.
No. Just being there is good enough for those people. I mean, I don't really see much of the big deal in standing at, like in the
New York
city
City.
for a few hours and like seeing seeing some famous star come out, like half-ass a song for about 30 seconds and then leave. If like you wanted to go to a concert, that's another thing, but I don't know what you exactly want out of this.
You get the marching bands that are there every year. You get the singing
Yeah.
inflatables that are there every year. Like they had Goku this year
Yeah, I
again.
saw that. You know what was really dumb? Speaking about the marching bands, there was a mariachi band that played.
I
Like,
did not see that.
I don't know if that's a yearly tradition. I have no idea. They came out with Mexican flags and they started like performing like music, but it was really bad. Like, I don't know if they were like high schoolers or something, or like college students, but that performance they did was very bad in comparison to like the other marching bands that were out like before and after them. It was
It's
rough.
fucking awful. How do you fuck up like one of the biggest events of the year?
Yeah, like, and if your whole deal is that you're performing mariachi, that requires like a lot of like skill in like the brass section,
Mhm.
and if you're fucking that up, it's not even mariachi at that point. So, who knows? I guess they just, Macy's Day is just things in general just get shittier. Macy's Day Parade is no different.
Yeah, well, Macy's Day Parade also suffers from the same thing, in my opinion, as the ball drop on New Year's Eve. I can't imagine the mindset you have to be in to go and stand outside for that long for like whatever event it is.
Yeah,
If
just
you could
so.
just watch it on TV and you get the same effect.
Yeah, I mean, it's like sure, it's like oh, it's like the bustling crowd of people. It's like I feel like like the crowd's overwhelming joy, permeates with me. Like I don't
It's
know.
just horrible because I don't know about Macy's Day Parade. I know that New Year's Eve ball drop, what you get in, if you leave, you can't get back in, and there's no bathrooms at all.
I mean, that's perfectly fine. You could probably just piss and shit where you stand.
Yeah.
It's New York City.
A
You
lot
think
of
they're gonna
people
do anything
bring
about it?
bladder bags.
That's bad. And then, the ball drops, and now people are just like screaming in your ear for about 15 minutes. And, you're with your kids, they're tired, they're cold, they want to go home.
It's
And
midnight. They've never
yeah,
been up this late before.
yeah, they've never been up
It's
this late
freezing
before.
out.
People are like, they're surrounded by people, you're in the middle of it, and now
You're
you have
getting
to like,
cooked like a hornet in a mess.
yeah, and you got to get out of there. And like, oh man, I gotta catch a train now. Like this crowd of like,
God,
like
could you
3,000
imagine
people.
getting on the LIRR after the ball drops?
I
That must
cannot.
be fucking awful.
Yeah.
Everyone else in that crowd is going with you on the same train, and most of them are drunk.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
mean, what-
past midnight.
I'd
God.
imagine it's no different than those trains that you see in like Asia where they're just completely packed full. The door opens and you gotta fight and like bite and chew people to get in and get out.
But the only difference is you're on the LIRR, so the train is so old and broken down. God.
Yeah, you step on board and now that amount of people might be like a genuine weight hazard to that old clunker. No fucking bullet trains for America. It's been like how many decades since they were like introduced?
You think
Big
that at
train
least
does
be
it again.
bullet trains that go cross country? I could kind of understand it here, just because of how many stops there are between here and the city. It kind of like wouldn't make sense in a way to have a bullet train. They could at least update the fucking trains though. But
Yeah.
having bullet trains that go from east to west coast would make a lot of sense. Like,
It really should have been a thing by now,
yeah.
but no.
Well, America doesn't give a shit about public transport.
Nope.
Walkable cities. Yeah.
Walkable cities. How do those Europeans do it?
I
Those
get
walkable
shit
cities.
on by my Greeks all the fucking time about walkable cities, and I'm sick of it at this point. They give me so much shit about walkable cities.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole walkable city thing, like really blew up in the past like half a year. I think I haven't really seen it mentioned at all prior to that. So, but I just think it is hysterical though because people, for whatever reason, if you're not a fan of, if you live in the United States and you're not a fan, of the direction the country's heading, like of the government, that's one thing. But then you'll jump and dive to, to defend the slightest thing when a foreigner
Yeah,
says some shit.
that's exactly me. I, I do not like this country, but whenever I'm in a chat with these European friends I have, and when they start talking shit, I just go off about it because I think it's funny just to be like America #1 all the fucking time.
Yeah. But just the amount of people that do genuinely believe that America is #1. I mean it is #1 in a lot of things, but it's also #1 in a lot of things that shouldn't be.
Well, it's funny because the ones that think America's #1 are usually poor and like live in like trailer parks. Like,
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, those trailer parks are the damn best in the world.
yeah. You ever see the picture of that? That is just like Biden's new tax plan is gonna, ruin this country. It's gonna make everyone poor, and then it's like their house, and it's just like a
Yeah,
trailer park with like trash littered all over the front of it.
It's like a ramshackle hut. I've seen those, and the sad part is that those people live like that, really not too far away from the most developed areas in the U.S.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing because all those people who live like that live in states with some of the lowest property taxes and taxes in general in the country.
Yeah, they just
and
have
yet
these
they live in these they live in the shacks from Fallout 3.
Yeah, like, they live in these obviously multi-generational houses, but just no attempt was made at trying to maintain them at all. No pressure washer, no no roofers, nothing. It looks like it hasn't been touched in 60 years.
I can't imagine that. Paying those taxes and living in something like that.
Yeah, living in that squalor.
Like, where are you spending your money?
I don't know. I don't even want to know.
I guess that's the one good thing about living in New York. Having to actually spend our money smartly, if that's even a word. Once you leave the state,
spending.
You just like accelerate so much. Because you're always in that state of mind.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, when I go to like Montana or Colorado, or generally any state that's not on the coast, and I go to a store and buy something and there's no sales tax at all, I fucking cum in my pants every single time. It's one of the greatest feelings. Pick something up off a shelf, go to pay for it, and the price that you pay is what they put on it on the shelf. That's fucking
wonderful.
Amazing.
It's wonderful, isn't it? What? Like, how many people live in New York? It's like how many million? Like, somewhere isn't like
There's 8 million here. There's like 20 million in the city, and then I don't even know how many people live upstate.
I think it's something like maybe like 360 million.
Not bad. Didn't we do that joke last episode?
If we did, then I apologize, but I just can't help myself. I see the opportunity. I'm just gonna make the joke. I don't care if I've said it every episode. I'll do it again the next episode as well. That's one way to break off from the Thanksgiving Macy's Day bender, I suppose. Talking about the the poor of America, the plight of the, of course, the plight of the lower class, and why they can't fix their houses.
Suck.
Why they suck.
Why they should all die.
This is a poor people hate channel.
Shit, our poor people hate episode was the one that got corrupted too, so
I know.
Can't even reference it.
Nope. That's gonna be a real kicker for longtime fans of the Bender Hour. Hearing that for the first time.
The lost episode.
The lost episode.
They can at least see the thumbnail though.
They'll know.
That thumbnail was so fucking good. I'm like upset that episode got lost.
Yeah. That one was really good. So, have you ever seen those DK eyewitness books before?
No.
They're like those
Donkey Kong?
not Donkey Kong. those thin books, say like eyewitness books on the side, and they usually discuss one specific topic, where either like the American Revolution or like dinosaurs or the skeletal system.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Okay, there was like
completely honest with you.
Well, it was like a big thing in the early 2000s, and I have one that is about the future and what these people in like how whenever it was written, like 2002, figured the future would be like around this point. I think like it's specifically in like the 2020s, 2030s, and they were wrong about like everything.
Of course.
Because I think the gist of it is they couldn't comprehend that every single invention that they came up with, that like they prophesized, would all be contained in one device.
Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah, like they thought that people in the future would be buying gifts for people that would have little LED screens of photos on them that you could swap out, change, and that they would have scents that you could put in them, like smells you could program into them that would like shoot out or whatever. It was like so bizarre. They had these weird like emotional gifts where you like look at a picture and it would like shoot out a smell of what that picture was. Like that was probably one of the more inventive ones, even though it's just that would be such a fucking inconvenience.
I'm still waiting for the smellograph, to be honest.
The smellograph. I know that there's a couple weird attachments you can get for phones that output smells. The only problem is obviously you need to buy separate cartridges if you want like a different smell.
And you probably need a program or some sort of app that already has the smell programmed to the picture.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a controlled app. You're not going to get the fun stuff like feet and, and
armpits,
hair, armpits, sweat,
the back of knees,
piss. That's really all I want.
That's all I want. Maybe the biggest problem is that it's really only. I think it's a niche product. I don't think the average Joe Schmo exactly wants to smell those things, but I guess that's just more for us, right?
Yeah, less competition.
Less competition, exactly. But all these people getting things wrong about the future. It's not everyone can predict that one single phone would have all that bullshit loaded on.
It's funny that it was like, the picture frame of digital photos that you could swap out. Is that basically the gist you're getting? Like, those did exist in like the early 2010s, because we used to have one at my old house. It's just like the most useless fucking thing ever, and they died out so quickly.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that those still exist now. I think they got like a second wind, because I mean we have something like that at our house where you could take pictures on your phone and then upload them to this little photo gallery. It's like the size of a tablet. You'd put it up on your counter somewhere, and now all the pictures from your vacation or whatnot can get uploaded on this little slideshow gallery, so you could just see it every time you walk by. So I guess it had a comeback at some point. I don't know when, but it did happen. Yeah, let's see. I just dug up the book right now, and I'm looking through this, and I think they touched upon everything, like transportation, machines, AI, and all this stuff is just like so far behind, honestly. Yeah, here we go. Emotion containers. So I don't think this one was specifically. I might have misremembered this. It wasn't. I don't think it had a picture. Maybe. Let's see. Emotion containers will be precious gifts. They will be pleasing to look at and made from valuable materials, but they will have much more than that. Each will have a small screen, a loudspeaker, and a scent compartment. The giver of the gift will be able to record a special moment on it, such as a clip from a home video or baby's first words, for instance. And the giver can include a favorite scent. The moment is captured for the recipient to enjoy.
Dude, that would be abused so fucking quickly. You would just have people spreading their asses and farting into the camera. It's like, here's your gift. They open it up, they turn it on. It's just a video of them farting, and then it releases the smell of the fart directly into your nose.
Yeah, I turn it on. It's made from it's made from a valuable material. So I have like my 1400 like solid gold emotion container, and the LED the tiny like 2-inch LED screen comes up, and it's just a picture of my gaping anus, and then this like green like fart cloud comes out
As it plays the sound of your fart.
of the fart.
It's just a more advanced way of sending people audio messages of your fart. Because, like, people already do that. It's just, like, a little bit extra. That would be so fucking funny, though. Could you imagine sending that to someone, like, in the mail for the holidays?
I mean, yeah, because, you know, like, something that stupid probably, like, would get bought, like, to a degree that it could be successful, like, if you sold it in the right places. Because, obviously, there's still a huge market for people that enjoy stupid things like farts and, you know, like, gag gifs.
It's been funny since we were cavemen, and it will always be funny.
That's true.
I just realized that freaks would also abuse it, though. Because, like, freaks already send weird shit to whoever they're, like, obsessing over at the time. So they just send them, like, a picture of their, like, cum tribute to this person.
Oh
and then
my
the
God.
smell is their cum. That
These things would have to get, like, banned.
Yeah.
Like, the EU and the UN would all, like, convene and now have their separate bills trying to outlaw these things.
Just the smell of, like, pure chlorine to the person that you hate.
Yeah.
They just open it and immediately they have to throw it away as far away from them as possible because it's closing their nose off. It's not actual chlorine, but it still just sends the reception to your brain that, like, you're about to die.
Honestly, everything on this page is just insane. I like this one, an intelligent garbage can that it's designed to sort trash, keep it from smelling, and make it into compact parcels ready for collection and recycling. You know, the funny part about this one is that, you know, like, anytime you see, like, nowadays that there are, like, trash cans that have, like, a receptacle for regular trash and recyclable goods, and they just, like, lift up the lid and it's still, like, just, like, the same bag. They don't give a shit.
I guess they never, like, expected anyone to just make Febreze. 'Cause
No.
that completely solves the problem of bad smells.
Yeah.
It's so much simpler.
It's gonna smell like horrible. And there's this other weird thing too, which for whatever reason they have it. I don't know if this was like something that was actually prototyped by Philips, but their company
the
logo is
screwdriver company.
like the one that made the CDI.
Oh.
You know, not Mr. Head of, like, not Mr. Head, first name Phillips. They came up with these weird things called hot badges, where they're short-range communication devices loaded with personal information. They broadcast your personal profile and receive other broadcasts. And I think how it worked is you would, like, this is like a thing like the size of a fucking phone, basically, that has all of your hobbies and other things about you all loaded onto them. And if you, like, drove by someone that had, like, similar hobbies, it would flash, letting you know that it's like, oh, I can connect with this person.
That'd be so fucking stupid. It's basically just a complicated version of social media. But if I was at my home and I heard a knock on the door and I go downstairs, open the door, and someone is just standing there and they go, like, my personal badge fired off, like, I see you have the same hobbies as me, you want to talk? I just slammed the fucking door in their face.
Yeah,
why would you want that?
I don't know. Let's see. This is how it describes it. Imagine standing at a bus stop when suddenly your hot badge signals that the person behind you likes the same music you do. It might be all you need to know to start a conversation, become friends. Yeah.
That's fucking awful.
Isn't that wonderful? I'd love to make my hot badge something extraordinarily niche and disgusting. That way, like
that
on
way
the
you
off
know
chance,
who to stay away from.
yeah. You know, to stay away from, and like the off chance, like you like enter a place, like, yeah, I put down my hot badge. You know, I'm a, you know, I really like hurting.
Executive.
Yeah, I'm an executive. I like you know, punching people and they're not looking. I like to pickpocket.
I like to climb into septic tanks.
You know, just like walking down the road. You know, enter a bar. It's like just me and the bartender. Then just like one disgusting guy enters the building, and my hot badge goes like, We could both look at each other.
I didn't even know.
I mean, it's a great way to strike up a conversation.
It's a great way to stay away from all the freaks.
So, looking at the mistakes of our predecessors here, the good old eyewitness books, you think we could do better and predict the future of what, looking at what people love today, what stupid little things fascinate people and how short-lived some trends are, what, do you think would be something like this in the future that wouldn't be as stupid as the hot badge,
Like
so to speak?
technology-wise, or just social in general?
I mean, it could be a combination.
That's a really hard question, because the hard thing about predicting the future, and the reason why that thing is so wrong, is because technology advances exponentially. So you can't really, the reason they can't predict that shit is because they always expect it to go normally, progressively at the same rate over time, but that's just not how things work.
No. So...
everyone thought that smart glasses would be a fucking thing.
Nope.
And those have just all fallen to the wayside because nobody gives a shit.
I mean, even smartwatches are still, not a major thing. I mean, people use them and they still exist in the market, but...
The only use this fucking thing has is as a stopwatch when I'm at the gym. That's
yeah.
it. That's
That's
the only thing I use it for.
They're being sold enough just to stay on the market, but that wasn't a big thing. They didn't take off like they thought it would.
The only reason they still probably are on the market is just because they link to your phone. And it's
yeah.
I might as well get this for my phone. That's it. That's
yeah,
the reason I got mine, because I got a discount on it when I bought my phone. That was it.
Considering how, everyone's got a phone in their pocket nowadays, you're never going to, leave house without your cell phone. In what situation would you need to have the watch and, not have the phone,
Always you can send texts or call people without taking your phone out. But taking your phone out is 2 seconds.
Yeah, and would I really want to try to finesse on a 1-inch screen to do all that stuff? I know it's
horrible.
Probably...
Sending a text I've tried it once, and it is one of the worst experiences I've ever had. Because it goes back to old phones where you have to press a number multiple times to get to the letter that you want, except it just doesn't fucking work. You press it once, and it shows up with the first letter, and then you press it again, and it puts the first letter a second time. And it just doesn't fucking work. It's horrible.
Like hundreds of millions of dollars go into rigorous testing for these devices, and they just sell it like that.
Yeah.
Isn't that just funny?
The only other thing I use this watch for is when I'm driving. I can press next song on my watch and not have to take my phone out and crash my car. I can have my watch hand on the steering wheel and use my other hand to hit next song. That's it. That's the only other useful thing it does.
Yeah, I guess depending on the car, that is fairly useful. On some newer cars, those buttons are just on the steering wheel itself.
I can control the audio on my steering wheel. I can't hit next song, though. That's the only bad thing.
So yeah, they're just extremely situational devices.
Yeah.
But, keeping in mind that technology does improve exponentially, but even though it does improve exponentially, the form that our technology is taking has been fairly stagnant since then. Obviously, looking at the iPhone back in 2007, it was damn near half the size, double the width, but all these years later, if you ever looked at pictures back in 2008 and 9, we're like, oh, what the iPhone 10 is going to look like. It was some stupid device where the whole thing was transparent. The whole thing was just one big screen.
Yeah.
Obviously, that didn't happen.
That is how they've gone, though. Because now pretty much every phone, there's no border on the screen anymore.
Yeah,
the whole front is a screen.
I don't even mean like that though, but in those old depictions, even the sides and the back of the phone was just one big screen.
Oh,
they really just went crazy trying to drum it up, but
I like
in
the
general,
ones where it's the Tony Stark piece of glass. that's your device.
Yeah, that amplifies. That's one of my least favorite types of
sci-fi.
Sci-fi stuff. Just a blue
piece of glass.
A blue piece of glass that's transparent. That's just the worst thing ever. Because even though I've never read the books, I had the misfortune of seeing the movies of what was the Hunger Games. That's what it was. I remember seeing the first Hunger Games movie, and every single person like lived in these normal ass houses, but instead of TVs, they had these holographic screens. So you'd press a button, and it would just put up this transparent, hard to see blue version of what would have just been a crisp, clear TV image. Like, that's a downgrade. That's a downgrade in every way. Like, outside of the impressiveness that you're able to project onto nothing, nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Tony Stark wouldn't want that, but he uses it.
That's like another thing too, like going back to the whole predicting technology. I guess the whole hologram thing just made me think of Star Wars, like how they have the holograms, and that's how they like talk to each other over great distances. And then you compare it to modern day, where you just have like FaceTime, and it's just a much better experience because you're looking at the person in HD in color. Instead of this blue hologram that like shivers half the time as you're using it. Like they could imagine holograms in the 70s, but they could not imagine FaceTime.
No. And you know, the crazy thing is what's the name of the movie? Like 2000, like A Space Odyssey. I'm pretty sure there's a scene in that movie where they actually did predict like a FaceTime type thing where a guy enters this big room and you know it's got a TV screen. He's able to FaceTime with his daughter, and it's in color. So, like, you know, people could figure that stuff. Obviously, that was, you know, it wasn't as perfect on the dot as like holding a device that had it. You know, some people were able to come up with that kind of stuff and say like, oh, you know, the future there will be stuff that would resemble a cell phone, but yeah, but blue screen hologram shit, that's never gonna be viable because it's horrible. But the sad part is that if it was released, people would like eat it up and buy it because like, oh, now I could be Iron Man.
It's
like Star Wars. Yeah, it's like Marvel. It's like Star Wars.
It's a complete downgrade, but it's cool.
It's cool. I got like a future house. You know, I pay $4,000 like a month for rent for my studio apartment that has, you know, like a toilet in the same room as my bed, but at least I got this $400 blue hologram.
At least I have a wall dedicated to all my Funko Pops.
Yeah. Isn't that just horrible? We just do so much
Funko
better.
Pops.
I think we need some kind of like counter to the Funko Pops. Like, what's something that, you know, would be equally stupid to buy?
Oh, that's not even what I was thinking.
What
When
were
you
you
said
going
counter
at?
to Funko Pops, the first thing that popped in my head was plastic eating microbes.
Yeah, I like that.
Just
Yeah,
walk into someone's house and like release them into the air.
Yeah, this is what it would be. There'd be like it'd be fungus that are grown to resemble a Funko Pop, and you put them in you put them in like a regular container. You
Like
gift
a
it to your
chia
friend.
pet?
Yeah, it's like a chia pet. You gift it to your friend, and he inevitably puts it, you know, up against his 200 others, and in like a week's time, it just starts consuming them.
And it's also evolved to expel noxious fumes.
You know, the best part too is that like you really wouldn't notice in time because I think there do exist fungus that can eat plastic, but it's like they can eat the amount in like 2 weeks time they can eat like a fingernail's worth of plastic.
It's just a slow burn. That'd be perfect because they wouldn't see it. Like it would happen so gradually that they would never notice it. Until one day someone else walks in their apartment and is like, why are your Funko Pops covered in fucking mold and like half broken down? And why does your room smell like arsenic?
Why is this one Funko Pop like all white and getting like bigger?
Why is it leaching onto the wall?
It's like, yeah, why is the whole room covered in like condensation? Why is it so humid in here? It's like, oh, nothing, just growing my microbial Funko Pop eater. Yeah, I'm gonna unleash that on the world. I think the only way to make Funko Pops more scummy would be if they were made out of some material where they'd like actually like melt and break down after like half a year.
That'd
You
be
need to buy
perfect.
new.
That would make so many people, like all the people who collect them, just so pissed.
Yeah.
People actually collect those, which I can't even wrap my fucking head around. Imagine, like, they collect them, they buy them, they don't take them out of the box. See, you know, like, I gotta preserve their condition, and then a year later, it's like half melted, just because that's the product it was built out of. Like,
Yeah,
the materials.
planned obsolescence. Like Funko,
Yeah.
whoever's in charge of the Funko,
Pops.
whoever's in charge of that Funko Pop team, like if they did that, they would
They'd
have
make
so much
money.
They'd make so much money, and the amount of people that would stop buying Funko Pops over that would be so minuscule, it would not make a dent in their new profits.
We can't let this get out. We gotta patent this first.
Yeah, how did we?
This episode gets released, patent it, and sell it to the Funko Pop company.
Oh
We could
God!
be billionaires overnight.
Just and then, you know, like what would be that material? Like what would be a material that would melt that soon in regular, like room temperature conditions? Like this would have to be some like miracle device. We need to invent like some new compound
Some
just to
form
fuck
of
over.
plastic that breaks down. It holds together for a year, and then it breaks down.
Because I know there do exist like military robots or whatever, like military type drones, that the whole point of them is that they do melt, so that like to avoid capture. Like that's something that's being tested. So we just gotta like walk in the DARPA and just ask for
Do you have
that.
a sample of that?
It's like, hey, that melting plastic, can we like get that?
Yeah, here you go.
There you go.
No questions asked. They probably would give it to us, considering how fucking horrible these people are at keeping secrets.
Yeah, and we dressed like sharply enough, we'd walk in, they'd probably think we're the boss. You kidding me?
I think we're the president.
Yeah. They just weren't keeping up with the president the past couple of years. Just fool them. I don't even like try to put on like a Biden voice.
Yeah. Walk in and pretend to be Obama. Can I get one of those plastic drones?
Like everyone just stands at attention, like Mr. President, Mr.
Mr.
President.
President?
Oh my God. Like I don't even like, you know, I'm just I didn't even put on any outfit or disguise. Just going doing the Obama impression. Hello, gentlemen, Mr. President. I'd get you what you want. Planned obsolescence, burning, melting plastic, Funko Pops, you know, and I'm sure there's gonna be way more dumb things in the future too that'll get people's attention. But obviously, like, when it comes to like you said earlier, if the whole technology gets exponentially better, but the whole problem is that most of that would just go towards, you know, it's just processors getting like
Horrible
smaller.
things.
It's like processors are getting smaller. I know there's like a name for the actual process in which electronics are, you know, are exponentially getting more microscopic by the year. I don't remember what that term is. It's probably something stupid.
It's probably something really obvious.
Yeah, like the smaller processor effect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I looked that up on Wikipedia and like named after Mr. Processor Effect. This was detailed in
Named after Mr. Smaller.
Mr. Smaller. I didn't even see this one. Your personal internet. This is actually like a tablet they came up with. This gadget is designed for teenagers. It is a communications device that also gives access to entertainment like music and videos, information services such as libraries. It helps with homework projects, but can be used to communicate with friends.
So it's a laptop.
It has a picture, and it's shaped like. Okay, do you remember? What was the name of that like cell phone video game console? Remember the N-Gage?
No.
Okay, well it's shaped like that thing exactly, where it's like taco shaped. It's like a taco shaped tablet, but the screen is like half the size of it. This looks horrible. It does have a touchpad though, so they were on the right track.
That makes sense. I mean, what was it? The Tiger game console that had a touchpad. That was
Gamecom.
the 90s. You think it was the Game.com?
You know,
It's
that's
actually the Gamecom.
Would have been really dumb in that AVGN scene if he's like, you know, you might think it's called the Game.com, but it's really called the Gamecom, and then like he turns it on Game.com. What the fuck? Fuck you. The Gamecom starts talking to you. Starts talking to you. Ooh, look at this one. Electronic pets. I mean, this was kind of like a thing.
That
in the
was
early
a thing in
2000s.
the 2000s, yeah. They're still technically a thing. I don't know a single person who actually buys them, though. I don't know anyone who had them back then, and I don't know anyone who has them now.
Well, okay, so like if you actually wanted one that was actually worth a damn, you'd probably get like a Tamagotchi or something. But on this page, they describe
Well, it's
them
probably
as
those, like,
these.
robot dogs, right?
No, not even. These two pictures are just defy all explanation. They're like these tissue box styled, like tissue box sized objects. Like this one, it's an orange box with a single googly on it and an orange shark fin on the top.
Fuck.
This electronic pet will be able to respond to its owner with sound.
That's it. That's all I can do.
Yeah. So and the
You
funny
walk
thing
in
is,
your home, it just starts shrieking.
yeah, like this one, it's a green like semicircle with red spikes all over it. It has no actual facial features, nothing that resembles like a creature at all. It looks like a sea mine. And I enter my house. This thing starts screaming bloody murder. The only way to stop is just like punching it, and it starts whimpering.
Kick it against the wall.
It starts whimpering. Maybe that's the future. Like
Robot animals that you can abuse whenever you get home from work.
Okay, because hear me out here. Do you remember that game, like Kick the Buddy, like way back in the day?
No.
It was this game where the whole point of it was you had this stupid little gray like a character, and he was composed of like a bunch of little gray balls. He had no facial features, and you had a bunch of options to either like befriend him by, I don't know, giving him flowers, like give him little kisses or something, and then there was like a trillion options on how to just brutalize him and beat the living shit out of him. And for the longest time, I'd never heard of it since, but it's like resurfaced in the past couple of years, and you'll see those ads on YouTube and wherever else where it'll be like Kick the Buddy and like Kick the Buddy 2, where they'll have this horrible voice actor who's clearly from like Latin America or something, like trying to do like an English voice. He's like, no way you can kick me. And it's like the same thing. You look at these ads, and every single one is just chopping his head off with a chainsaw, putting him in like a medieval stretcher, and like freezing him to death. It's insane. People get a kick out of like torturing small things. So how do you monetize that?
It is true.
make little robotic pets that scream.
Scream until you punch them. You have you bring a guest over, and like as soon as they walk in the door, it recognizes that there's a second person, so it goes like, "My owner touches me here," and like points to where its ass would be.
Looking wonderful. Throws you under the bus too. Gives you more of a reason to beat the shit out of it. And because that it justifies making it like a tactile like object you buy, and not like a stupid like app like something Tamagotchi-esque that you can actually just put on a phone. Because now you really have an urge to get physical with this thing.
Yeah.
It pisses you off.
It's a little shit.
And the best part is like, you never really want to like break it for real, because all it does is just sit there. Like it hardly
paid like $1,000 for this fucking thing.
Like it hardly moves. And like thinking about it, it's like outside of like like the abuse part of it, it's really no different than those stupid family robots that have become the craze in the past 5 years, where it's literally just like an Amazon Alexa.
Happy birthday, Polly.
Yeah. It's just an Alexa, but placed in the shell of what looks like a happy little robot. It literally offers nothing more than an Alexa, but it's $500 more, and it makes people believe like, oh, it's like I'm buying Bender from Futurama. It's like I'm buying the maid from the Jetsons. It's like C-3PO. Whoa, it's like Star Wars.
That's
but
so cool.
But you don't want to break it because it's a fragile screen. But now, what if you had all of that in the comfort of like
A
a small,
silicon shell.
yeah, a silicon shell, you know,
With
a nice
shock
soft body.
absorbers on the inside
Yeah, and
that
like
protect the circuitry.
the harder you punch it, you know, like the more satisfying of like a yelp it gives.
It's got pressure detection, so it knows
Yeah.
the force that you're hitting it with, and
That's
it
perfect too.
responds accordingly.
And
Over time, it builds up a resistance, so you have to hit it harder to get the same reaction.
You know, that's perfect too, because you know it takes into account all aspects of, you know, human life, you know, the social aspects and the violent ones. So this really is the perfect thing. Now you just have to incorporate the melting feature, or maybe you have it's like when you punch it enough, it does eventually die.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's the planned obsolescence of it. Is that
You
like
break
it has
yourself.
yeah it has all the shock
then-
absorbers in it, but it eggs you on over time to hit it harder and harder till eventually you get to a point where you hit it so hard it breaks, and then you have to
can't
buy a
return.
new one because
Yeah,
you're
'cause-
addicted to beating this little creature.
And the best part is that you're the one who did it, so you can't claim
You can't.
mercy.
Yeah.
Oh
You're
my
the one
God.
who did it, so you can't blame anyone but yourself. This thing cannot be broken during shipping. It's made to withstand abuse, so the only person who can break it is you.
Now, like, what would it be shaped like necessarily? Like, because obviously, if it was shaped like anything that's on this page I'm looking at right now, I mean, I'd probably want to beat it up just because it's so ugly. But is there like a more form-fitting design that is like specifically made to maximize the efficiency of human hatred?
Make it like a little goblin man.
It's like a little angry goblin. Walk in the house, like, hi, fucker. You smell bad. Tells all your personal secrets. Like he's hooked up.
He's listening to you.
He's hooked up to your phone via Bluetooth, and he just like it's put in. It's programmed with keywords to. Like it has like an algorithm to find like the keywords on your phone that it feels would be the most embarrassing to blurt out in the presence of like guests,
Other people.
if other people, it'll say them loudly. There's no option to say like goblin stop. Like it'll if you say that it actually gets louder. Because you know I see how people interact with like Amazon Alexas and they get pissed at it because you know it can't fucking hear you half the time, and the other half the time you know like I ask it to play a song. And it's like, you know, how about I finally use this stupid Alexa? You know, Alexa, play this song. Sorry, that song is locked behind a paywall. You know, I'd want to throw it across the room. So now you can, and now you're still on the dime for it, but like you have enough satisfaction that you want to buy another. You know, make them not too, you know, not too expensive, but you know, cheap enough that you know you can buy them as gifts. You know, you got that. You know, you have that kid in your family just you know has horrible anger issues. Give him one of these. You know, he'll grow up to be a successful human being. He definitely won't like you know
Kill
turn this
small
on.
animals.
Well, yeah, he definitely won't like you know fry small animals and like skin cats when he's older. And now you have a new multi-billion-dollar industry.
And you have a constant stream of revenue because these things will break eventually. They are built to break eventually. So people will have to buy more.
Cause like, if you don't break it yourself, it will eventually wither away.
Yeah, you'll get to listen to the death cries of this little goblin man as he fades away.
Yeah, once it starts breaking down into like the melting phase, it acts kind of like a store alarm, like at a grocery store, where it's just like a high pitched squeal that you can't turn off unless like you had it submerged in water for like an hour. Can't turn it off. I'm just beating the shit out of it, really letting loose. Like, my hands are bleeding, so now like I need to, you know, so now this like toy abuse firm is in the hands of doctors and big pharma. You know, they're selling it's kind of like that big deal in like the Nintendo 64 where Nintendo had to give out gloves because people were like hurting their hands playing Mario Party.
Fucking idiots.
Yeah, they have
How
like
does that work?
it's because they made stupid games that required spinning the analog stick with the center of your palm, and people do it so hard that you know they'd be looking like Jesus with fucking holes in their
I've been
hands.
doing that for like every game that's required that my whole life. How the
I
fuck
don't
do they
know.
hurt themselves? I was a little kid playing fucking GameCube and I didn't have that problem.
I don't know. I've only held an N64 controller maybe like 3 times in my life, but I don't think they were covered in like sea urchin spikes. I think people back then were just like weaker.
They got micro needles coming out of the analog stick.
Yeah, they're like those like patches you put on your arms that give you like caffeine. You know, I think last episode we also talked about how to monetize the sickest aspects of human nature.
Yes, with the video game and the
Yeah,
the
once
school
again,
reality TV show.
it just comes down to just abusive nature. You
We
know,
gotta like get a new topic.
yeah, you know,
We keep talking about the same thing every episode, just like horrible ways to take advantage of human nature.
yeah, are we the bad guys? Yeah, you're right.
Because we sit here and talk about it, but we don't put it into action.
I suppose not.
CEOs who want to make money will put it into action, and then we will reap the benefits of being able to watch it.
Like we're gonna be forced to sign like some kind of non-disclosure that we weren't in fact the ones that came up with the idea, and they'll give us like a small sum to stay quiet.
They better.
They fucking better. No, they're just gonna like they're gonna turn us. They're gonna package us and turn us into the toys that have to
they're
be
gonna
punched.
they're gonna take us, and they're gonna put us in the school.
They're gonna put us in the school. Yeah, like imagine putting those things like into schools. You know, it's
Those
like
little
having
goblin men.
yeah. Like imagine the outcry. Like these things are
Why would we
screaming.
put them in the schools?
Well, I mean, because they'd
Just,
be
like,
brought.
piss off the teachers.
Yeah.
He's like giving a lesson, and the goblin acts like, "Don't listen to me, swine." He's a fucking idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. Like the math teacher's like writing up an equation. He's like x squared plus, and the goblin's just like 3, 5, 6, 5, like throwing him off. And you know what the teacher do? He grabs it and he just starts beating the shit out of it. And now he's addicted. Man, you know, I don't know how we're not billionaires already. We're really just messing up somewhere along the lines.
Just gotta find a way to patent our ideas and then sell them. I don't
Oh.
even know if you could do that.
I have no idea what the patent process really requires. I don't know if I need like a physical like blueprint mock-up to present to them. I probably do. If you wanted to like attempt this, I don't know if it requires like a physical prototype model for something like this tangible.
It probably does.
That
Let's
means,
make a
you know,
GoFundMe.
yeah, GoFundMe.
Little goblin man, GoFundMe.
Hi Kickstarter. Do you love hurting things that are weaker than you?
Do you need an outlet for all your unwarranted aggression that you build up throughout the day?
We got a deal for you. The little goblin.
I
don't know.
wouldn't buy one.
You say that until like you go over someone's house and you see it.
And you see the pleasure on their face as they beat this little goblin creature.
Yeah, it's because now like you see him punching something, and instinctively you want to try it too. That's just how it works. It's like you can't take your eyes off of it. It's like you see violence, and as a human being, you want to get onto the action. It's like a mob mentality. People are kicking it, they're punching it, they're taking photos of them elbow dropping it. The thing's screaming louder and louder. And you're like, oh, how loud can it get? And you're punching it.
I think the only place I'd like have one of those things is like my workplace. Just because it'd be funny to have that thing like in my office, but I think the last thing I'd want to come home to is a little goblin man that criticizes me. Go to like beat off and it's like, wow, I can't believe it's that small.
It all comes
Damn,
full
you were
circle.
quick.
It all comes full circle, doesn't it?
I have to like get up mid-session and like beat the shit out of it just to get it to stop.
So this isn't even related. I'm looking through Because for these videos we have topics that we drum up with. I'm looking through what I put down. I don't even remember writing this one down. I just put down Impractical Shitters, Mondo Dook.
What is that?
I don't remember writing that.
Mondo Duke. Do you remember what it meant?
Okay, I remember Mondo Dook was something that I think that was like a joke that like Joe from Practical Jokers like said one day. Like there was like a whole episode where they kept referring to turds as Mondo Dukes. I don't know what I was going with this, where I was going with this at all, but just like seeing that there just brought me to tears. I was so stupid.
You just wrote the idea down and didn't remember why you wrote it.
I guess not.
Impractical shit.
Mondo Duke.
I'm trying to figure out like if that would just be a show where they have to build just the most convoluted toilets ever, or if it would be like a challenge show where they have to go out in public and shit
Well,
with
I'd
like
say
different challenges for how they achieve the shit.
yeah, I'd say the best way to interpret it is to like just replace the intro of regular Practical Jokers with something poop related. So you have 4 lifelong enemies
4 lifelong rivals
who seek to devour each other. I don't know.
seek to kill one another.
4 lifelong enemies who seek to murder each other. Where's the shit come into play? Like that's the name of the show. Impractical Shitters.
It has nothing to do with shit.
Has nothing to do
This
with
is
shit
about
at
like
all.
this 4-way like spy v spy reality TV show.
Yeah, I mean, Among Us is hugely popular. You got, I had to just transfer it now to 4 middle-aged men who are really trying to kill each other for real.
They can only do it through like Looney Tunes style events. Murr's walking down the street and Sal's like in an alleyway holding the rope attached to a grand piano.
Drops it, like, and Mur gets up, his eyes are spinning around, like the ivory keys are like replacing his teeth. They all like crack one after the other. But once again, here we are talking about an idea that's centered around what? The worst aspect of human society. And it's another fucking reality TV show, of all things. It's like I know our humor is pretty I know it's very juvenile and concentrated around a few key things, but
I was just thinking about like the logistics of getting 4 people that hate each other to sign onto a show where they have to interact with each other.
And like they're somehow not killing each other so they could like stay there for the entire like season.
Like they all hate each other, they all want each other dead, but they also still want the paycheck from the show. So they purposefully never actually kill each other. They get very close, but they never finish the job.
There's a huge incentive to keep people alive. And to stay alive too. Or maybe the thing is that they don't necessarily hate each other, but they just have like a hate for everyone else. So
like
anytime
they just try to kill random people in the streets. Like...
Yeah, because I know most of the events on Impractical Jokers are centered around them approaching a stranger and having like ask them something very embarrassing. What if it was just going up to a random stranger and then just like smacking them, like stabbing them, and then running away, trying not to get caught. It's like, Sal, go for that police officer, just slap the back of it. Try to grab the gun out of his holster.
You didn't have the guts to pull the trigger. That's why he's tonight's big loser.
And then it like zooms out. There's like little like noise. It comes out. It's like so everybody, we're here for Sal's punishment. And he's tied to a stick, blindfolded. They're all pointing rifles at him. It's like, I don't know about this guy. It's like, you gotta do it. It's a punishment. Just be a man. mean, someday we'll have the AI technology to make these videos a reality.
I
But
fucking hope so.
yeah, because if I got to have the Impractical Jokers kill each other,
If I got to have like a video of the three of them watching Murr like in the backseat of his car, like strangling a hooker, that would be fucking hilarious.
I think it would be like funnier if it was like a real ass Impractical Jokers episode, and
Like
let's
a
assume
whole episode.
like it's like a real episode, and the four of them are there. It's not like any like the newer stuff or like they're missing people. It's the core cast, and they're doing some kind of mini game that involves like one Joker has to like get into like a car, like he has to like get into like a taxi or something, and perform what they asked him. They have to ask the taxi driver stupid things, and they're watching him. But then like the taxi driver like actually just like crashes. Like, he gets into a serious accident, and like Joe dies in shotgun. The airbag springs.
Shotgun in the taxi. Who the fuck gets into the taxi and sits next to the driver?
That was part of like the question. Like, all right, Joe. I need you to shotgun with them. Close the door. The taxi driver's like, it's like you can't sit up here. You gotta sit in the back. It's like, Joe, tell him to go fuck yourself.
Flash the gun in your waistband.
The taxi driver.
Listen, man, I really don't want you in my car. All right, Sal. put the gun at his head and tell him to start driving.
No hesitation. Like Sal. You briefly look at like the prosthetic leg he has from last episode's like punishment. He's not losing again.
He refuses to lose.
The taxi driver just completely lead foots it, steps on the gas.
Right into like an intersection that they have the red light for. Like an 18-wheeler T-bows them on Sal's.
It cuts back to the other three guys, and they're all like
dying laughing.
Like I imagine like all their mouths, like all their jaws are dropped, and they're like eyes are wide open, and they just start losing it.
Like
they're
every single
over
time when they fall over, like they grab each other as they're like losing balance because of how hard they're laughing.
Yeah, like Sal just got turned into pink paste. Getting T-boned at 90 miles an hour.
Sal died in a horrible car accident. That's why he's tonight's big loser.
What do they do with like his remains? He's still
Something
gonna
horrible.
throw punishment.
His family's getting a closed casket after what they do to him.
I figure like since the whole thing is that like since he died before like he could be since he could serve out as a big loser punishment, is that just like debt? The punishment gets bestowed onto his family.
That's like the other reason why they can't die on, like they don't want to die on the show because they know that the crew is gonna go after their family if they don't live to see their punishment.
It'd have to be something like really fucked up too.
Sal
like
died in a horrible car accident. That's why his family is tonight's big loser.
It's like I have no idea what Sal's family looks like. If he even like has one, and he's not like a test tube baby.
There was an episode where they had his sister on.
Sister.
Yeah, and I already know where this is gonna go.
Sal has a sister.
Because that episode was his big loser moment. They had him.
Yeah.
They had his sister marry Murr, like legally, like fully.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They had Murr like domestic abuse his sister like after they get married.
As soon as they got into a private room, he beat the shit out of her.
Yeah, like that'd be hysterical. Like they make Sal watch as if the bride and groom come down the aisle, and his sister has a huge red like welt on her face, shaped like a
black eye.
It's a black eye.
Very poorly covered up with makeup. She's got like tear marks coming down her face.
And Murr comes out in like a pimp outfit, just staring at Sal the whole time.
Murr has brass knuckles on like his other hand. Like she's like very timidly walking, and he's kind of like dragging her forward to like get her to walk down the aisle.
That's just brutal. Like, it's one thing if
Like,
you're
she
doing
did
it.
not consent to this at all.
No, she did not. She got completely strong-armed by the fucking Impractical Joker's crew. Like, you just gotta keep your family away from it. It's like Batman, like, you know, never gets like a love interest. Like, I don't want them to use it as leverage against me. You know, like if you want to become a Joker, you have to make sure your family is like gone out of public
They
eye.
gotta be out of the country. They gotta you gotta change your name, or all of them gotta change their name. You gotta scrub everything off the internet. There's a lot of work you have to do before you can become an impractical shitter.
We're lifelong assholes who seek to ruin each other's lives. And will stop at nothing until you are a broken shell of a man.
I just can't get the image out of my head of Sal getting fucking pasted by an 18-wheeler.
What I was gonna say is like the ending of that punishment would be like something really fucked up. Like, you know, Sal's sister, she's crying at the funeral and whatnot. And there's like a very accurate looking Sal body in the casket. Like, she has no idea that it's not him.
It's like a wax doll.
Yeah, it's a wax doll of Sal, and like she just kind of like, you know, accepts that it looks the way it does because like embalmed and like a little old and shit. And then, you know, the rest of the crew, it's like, we're so sorry, but you know, we made food and we brought it for everybody, and they're like burgers.
I can already tell where this one's going.
You know, the meat just tastes a little weird, but you know,
no one
wants to turn down, you know, nice home cooked meal from, you know, the best friends, quote unquote. And that'd be the best part is like, do they reveal it, or do they wait for like several years and then like tell her?
They only, like, the family only gets to find out once the episode gets aired.
Oh
that's
my god,
how they find
that's how they find out, you know, and like, you know, and then the candid camera that they have like in her house, it reveals her like watching
live.
Live national television for like watching what just happened. Her hands are over her mouth. She pukes everywhere.
And then like as she's watching it, like the screen updates and shows the live feed from her house. And that's when she realizes that there's like 20 cameras in her house.
A little box shows up in the corner of like the rest of the surviving crew, and they're all laughing their asses off at this. Oh, I can't believe she barfed, look! And like what for the rest of it is Sal just like edited in post like a Force ghost.
They'd either keep it to the 3 or they'd get like a replacement.
I think it'd be really funny if they got someone who just looked exactly like Sal. And they completely played it off like it was him.
Got him back.
They have like the Lazarus pit. They can just, you know, anytime you're done killing
You're
somebody.
never done being an impractical shitter. That is a multiple lifetime contract.
Yeah, that intro said lifetime, but if you look at the fine print, that's several lifetimes.
And if you ever get to a point where they can't bring you back, then it's your next of kin that has to replace you.
That is brutal. Like by the end of it, it's like the Star Wars Sith rule of 2, you know? Like by the end of it, like the Impractical Shitters are so good at what they do. They're practically like hitmen. That's all you're doing. You're just fostering like a huge generation of like the most evil, despicable people imaginable, because they're the only ones that survived. Yeah. You know, it's funny when we make Star Wars references, but you know.
Yeah.
Because we are the funny ones. We're the ones making these brilliant ideas.
Which one's like the old guy?
Joe?
Joe. I feel like he would be the quickest to adapt to this impractical shitter lifestyle.
Yeah, I always felt like
he was. In his eyes.
Yeah, I always felt like he was the best one on the show. He was always the one willing to take the biggest risks. And Sal was always like the biggest pussy. Yeah.
That's why they put him in the taxi. They had to get rid of the weakest link.
Yeah, like Murr is definitely up there, and I'd put Q is probably the most inconspicuous out of the 4. He's very hard to read. I don't know, like if you'd go down sooner or later. But I know
They
he'd
would
be
all
fighting.
conspire to take him down just to like get rid of the competition. Like they don't know his power level, so they try to get him out early.
Sick bastards. Just driving the car, and what they don't reveal is that several years later, when they finally have the like practical shitters, the original crew, the surviving crew, they retire.
I don't think you can retire from this lifestyle.
They have special commentary from their days recording those episodes, and they're like, it's like Joe's there, he's old. He's like, most people don't know this, but I was the one driving that semi truck that day.
Yeah, I feel like they would know it. I feel like if like when they're doing the challenges, and one of them will be like, hold on, take my microphone, and they leave the room.
Like, how the hell did he pull that off? Yo, hold on, and then, like the truck goes by, creams them. Like the video they got is from like a CCTV footage of
It's
like the intersection.
A red light camera.
Yeah, it's like a red light camera footage, so it's like very grainy. But there's a part where they're like, it's like, and look who we have here, and the video like zooms in. You can just barely make out Joe looking at the camera in the driver's seat with a thumbs up.
Deadpan expression on his face, looking directly into the camera.
The car that Sal was in it's just like a blur.
It's
'cause of
wrapped around the front of the truck already.
In 2 frames, it goes from being a blur to being eviscerated. And Joe's truck is literally unscathed. It's not a scratch.
It's reinforced titanium plating.
You're like a bulletproof truck. What an asshole! What a shitter! And then finally, and just to tie it all up, and he goes out. He gets out of the fucking truck. He's like, oh, it's like, Sal, you okay there? And he pulls out his pants. He's like, I'm gonna take a Mondo Dook on his fucking remains. Like, oh, that's nasty. Or even better, like they say, like Joe, take off your pants, take a Mondo Dook on his body. Like, oh, I can't. You gotta do it.
Gotta do it, man.
And he's like,
Like a bloodied circus.
Yeah, he pushes really hard. He's in a squat. He's like,
Gives himself a hernia and shit's
like-
up blood.
Yeah, this like 55-year-old man getting this suits a full squat over like the pink raw patty looking remains of Sal. He's unrecognizable. Like the taxi driver is gone. All they know is that there's exactly one frame of the CCTV footage where he shot out of the windshield. They never found the body.
I thought we were going in the direction of like their bodies just got like condensed into one mass of pink flesh. They are inseparable from each other.
And Joe's like, and see this red tiny little like tip poking out of his ass, and zooming in on it, like, oh, that's nasty. Oh.
You see his asshole start to like prolapse as he pushes as hard as he can.
His head is straining. There's like a big vein pop out his forehead. He's turning red. It's like, and he finally pinches out this embarrassing little like duty ball. He's like, oh, I did it. It's like, oh, yeah, you did it. Yeah, like what they don't show is that like Murr is like, all right, hold the microphone. I gotta do something. It's like a fucking double-decker pram hits him at 110 miles an hour.
It's like an almost exact, like, it looks exactly like the fucking meeting of the BS. Like 1 second, Joe's there, and the next second a car comes in at 100 miles an hour, and he's gone.
But he was lucky though because he did finish the challenge before he died, so it wasn't
His
transferred to his
family
next
was
of kin.
spared.
There's spared. In just one episode, two of the founding members are dead by the same method. And like, I'd like it like the second they get hit, it like the music like stops. You know, like they're not playing any more sound effects. It's just the raw audio. There's like real people crowding around, like trying to determine if this was like a real thing or if this was like a movie they were shooting because there's like a ton of cameras. And it's like starting to dawn on them real quick that this was like real.
These are dead bodies in the streets.
Like several bystanders were killed because there's no way you could just isolate a fucking semi truck going 80 miles an hour crashing into a car like in a busy intersection in like the city or wherever the hell they were.
Holy shit!
I mean, I think the Jokers could really learn a thing or two by becoming the shitters. And that'd be like the title of the episode. It'd be like the Impractical Shitters like special TV special, the Mondo Dook.
Why is there nothing funnier than someone getting hit by a car traveling like over 80 miles an hour?
It's because it's
Why
so
are car accidents so funny?
Because it's so visceral. It's so fast. Just 1 second you're there, the other second you're not. And like the peak of humor, like especially nowadays, is something getting cut off at like the last second.
It's fucking hilarious that you mentioned that just as I started laughing, because I thought about like what if there was a camera in the taxi that Sal was in, like on the driver's side, pointed towards Sal and the window. So like they have footage from the taxi of the semi truck like careening towards them.
Everything was, it's like impossible. It makes me even more dumb that like Joe was somehow able to pull up like, hold on, take the microphone, I gotta do something. Like he did this on the fly.
Dude, that would be the funniest fucking camera angle. Like you have this camera angle, it's the driver like sweating, gripping the steering wheel, white knuckles. He's both like looking at Sal and like looking at the road, cause like Sal is
got the gun to his head.
Sal is turned towards the driver, making sure he doesn't do anything. Gun to his head, so like Sal doesn't see the truck coming. Like the driver gets to see it for like a split second when he goes to look at Sal.
Because he
looks at him. Oh.
Oh, because he set shotgun the taxi. That's a mini game you won't get out anywhere outside the Practical Shitters. I don't know if we're gonna beat any. I don't think we're gonna beat that. That's too good.
That's the hardest I've laughed in a while.
I think that really revitalized the show.
Yeah.
It wouldn't last too much longer after that, but hey, that'd be like the most viewed fucking program on American television.
That would
I'll tell you
set
that.
a record for like most views, undoubtedly. That shit would spread like wildfire on the internet. Because you'd probably hear about it before it even got aired. Like you'd be like you'd be seeing people like bystanders filming it and like posting it on the Twitter of like Joe. Like they first you'd have the video of the semi truck hitting the taxi, and then you'd have video of Joe getting out of it, walking up to the wreckage and shitting on it,
and dropping the bloody.
Getting hit by another car.
Yeah, he runs over to the body, tapes a bloody Mondo Dook on the corpse, gets taken out next. That is good.
Holy shit.
I'm really gonna have to wind down after that one. I'm sufficiently wound up.
Yeah.
Inappropriate bender, touching upon the old timey subject of
Death and destruction.
death and destruction on a global corporate scale.
Holy shit.
Like, we've introduced enough ideas tonight to, like, honestly make us certified, like, philosophers.
Evil geniuses.
Evil geniuses. Whatever one, I'll take it. I don't know if you got anything else to. I don't know if you got anything else to add.
I really don't.
You want to close it off
I
here?
think my mind is gonna be blank for a long time. That sucked it out of me. That laughing. Again.
In that case, let's cut it off here then.
Yeah.